So seeing animals, where do I see animals in my day-to-day life? We have a horse, and so we go to the ranch where we board the horse every day and spend a lot of time there. That ranch is also on the border of the Golden Gate National Recreation Area, where I usually walk every time we go. So I see a lot of wild animals, and I think the first big category of animals that I see are wild animals in the GGNRA and the horses and other stock that are at the ranch. So those are the two big categories. Of course, we also see wild animals all the time just in the area, not just big charismatic things like deer and wild turkeys, but bees and flies and birds, songbirds, big predatory birds, and lots of animals pretty much every day and kind of all the time. But I also chose to do this assignment on the day that we were going to the county fair, which if you've ever been to a county fair, imagine it's like your Minnesota State Fair, except a lot smaller. But it's the same idea. So there we saw some stock. We saw chickens and rabbits and a cow. And also, of course, we saw lots of toys. The toys being given as prizes, the emblems on various businesses, the booths that were selling food would have a lot of animals symbols on them. And one thing I noticed, in fact, as an emblem that was sort of stood out to me was the Marines and the Navy recruiting tents both had eagles on them. And I thought to myself, well, this is an animal representation of a value, of a virtue that we want to honor. And so we use an animal that we perceive as exemplifying that particular virtue. What else did I notice? Oh, a lot of stuffies being carried around. A lot of little kids had stuffed animals that they carried, many of which were mythological. So here's a picture of my daughter holding her I don't know what you would call it, a pug mermaid, a merpug that they had blended together and turned into one of the prizes. So why would you turn a perfectly respectable dog like a pug into a mermaid? I don't know. I don't know why they do that. The second question, did anything surprise or concern you as you were doing the activity? Probably what surprised me and made me think the most was the emblem on the barbecue shed, which was of a pig character. Sort of imagine Porky Pig from the old cartoons, a big pink pig standing on its hind feet with an apron. But it was holding tongs on which it seemed to have a pork sausage, and it was doing the barbecuing. It had a chef's hat and was in fact a pig cooking pig. And I didn't know where to go with that. So what do I think the purpose of the activity was? Well, first of all, just to pay attention to what's around you, which is a great first step for any lesson. I love going out to nature and just telling kids, describe what you see. Don't tell me how you think it got there or what do you think it's doing there. Just describe what you see. Describe that rock, describe that mountain, describe that tree. Tell me everything you see, smell, touch, and hear. So that's a great first step. The other thing is I think it kind of gets at our essential know-it-allism. We see animals and we want to know what they're doing, and so we just make it up. We sort of create a mythology around the animals that we're seeing. When I was teaching outdoors, one of the places I would go was a dock where sea lions hauled out, and visitors to that dock would often, as their first impulse, oh, look, it's a mommy and a baby playing together. There were no mommies and no baby. These were all yearling or juvenile or subadult males. The playing that they thought they saw was just rough housing. So they were projecting their own experiences. Maybe that was a mom there with her own child. They were projecting their own experiences on the animals that they saw. Paying more attention to our know-it-allism, to our need to understand so much that we just make it up is important. And being a little more humble and observing first without automatically snapping to knowing what we think is going on is a good impulse. So I think that's what the purpose of the activity was, but I could be wrong.